So, for my speech, I decided to do the legalization of marijuana. I want to give a presentation of not only the facts, but the medical benefits as well. What is marijuana? For those of you that don't know, marijuana, or cannabis, the scientific name for it, is a plant that has three species: Cannabis indica, Cannabis sativa, and the less common Cannabis ruderalis. Marijuana and hemp are both cannabis plants, but marijuana contains higher levels of THC, the primary psychoactive ingredient that causes people to get high. Hemp can be cultivated for industrial uses such as rope, burlap fabric, or for low THC non psychoactive medicinal products. Here are some facts about the legal side of things. Nearly 600,000 Americans are arrested for marijuana possession annually. That's more than one person per minute. Public support for legalizing marijuana went from 12% in 1969 to 66% today, starting with Colorado and Washington in 2012. Recreational marijuana, also known as adult use marijuana, has been legalized by 10 states and DC. A couple of facts about legalizing marijuana. It will reduce the strain on the legal and criminal justice systems by cutting out relatively petty marijuana-related crime, such as possession of small amounts or marijuana for personal use. I think what that does is basically that is just cutting down the prison population by quite a bit, and that allows the justice system to focus on the more important aspects and crimes for people that really should be in prison, as opposed to people that are just simply trying to self-medicate. Production and sales of marijuana by the government rather than by criminals will save lives, create jobs, and generate money, which can be used for social programs, education, and healthcare. It would be a huge economic boost, and it would allow a lot of money to be put into programs that could really benefit sort of society and the economic system in and of itself. Crime related to marijuana production, trafficking, and dealing will be reduced or eliminated, which again would save money on the legal system. And then by setting up an age limit on marijuana use, there can be stricter controls on whether younger people can access it. I personally think that we should have an age limit when it comes to marijuana. I think it should be at least 21 or 25. I think by that age you are responsible to sort of handle yourself. And then it still keeps it out of the hands of teenagers. Here are some of the medical benefits to marijuana. Different compounds in marijuana have different actions in the body. For example, THC can help prevent pain and nausea, reduce inflammation, and can act as an antioxidant. Cannabidiol, or CBD, can help treat seizures, reduce anxiety and paranoia, and can help counteract the high caused by THC. Smoked marijuana can also help improve food intake in HIV patients. People who take marijuana who suffer from pain need less pain medicine. So marijuana, I think, in and of itself would certainly help curb the opioid crisis that's going on right now. THC and other cannabinoids, such as CBD, can slow growth or cause death in certain types of cancer cells. So that to me was extremely important when it comes to one of the medical benefits of marijuana. I think if it has any help as far as cancer goes, we certainly should pour our resources into cancer research and trying to find a cure. And if legalizing marijuana would help with that, then I certainly think that we should look into that. Here are some facts about marijuana and what it can do for cancer specifically. Studies have looked at the possible benefits medical marijuana can have on cancer symptoms and treatment side effects. Nausea and vomiting. A few small studies have found that smoking marijuana can ease these side effects of chemotherapy. The FDA has approved dronabinol and nebilone, man-made cannabinoids, to treat these symptoms when other nausea medications won't work. For pain, some studies have found that smoked marijuana can ease cancer-related pain. It binds to cannabinoid receptors in the brain and other parts of the body. Marijuana can also ease inflammation, which can help with pain. For nerve pain, neuropathy is weakness, numbness, or pain caused by nerve damage. It can happen as a result of chemotherapy or other cancer treatments. A few studies have found that smoking marijuana can help this specific type of nerve pain. For appetite and weight loss, dronabinol is FDA approved for the loss of appetite in people with AIDS, but not specifically for cancer. There are some small studies that show marijuana may also help improve appetite for people with cancer. Here are some facts about cancer and cancer in children specifically. I just wanted to give some background information while I talk about a friend of mine whose daughter was named Stephanie. Stephanie was 11 years old and actually fought cancer for 4 years. And towards the end, her mom had actually tried to get medical marijuana for Stephanie because Stephanie, she couldn't eat anything, she couldn't hold anything down, she was getting just very weak, and she was sort of losing her battle with cancer, if you will. So her mom tried as sort of a last hope to get medical marijuana, but because it was not, at that time, legal here in New Hampshire for that particular thing, she was not able to get it. And so Stephanie, at the age of 11, lost her life with cancer. So that's just one small example of what medical marijuana could do for cancer patients and children specifically. It would just sort of improve their quality of life and potentially give them a fighting chance against cancer. There are some arguments with marijuana and legalizing it. They say that marijuana is a gateway drug. There was a study done that found that adults who reported marijuana use during the first wave of the survey were more likely not going to. So there was a study done that said marijuana, people who didn't use marijuana, who used marijuana, were likely to develop an alcohol disorder within 3 years as well. And then people who used marijuana and already had an alcohol use disorder were at greater risk of that alcohol disorder worsening. And they say that marijuana use is also linked to other substance use disorders, including nicotine addiction as well. They do say that legalizing marijuana will cause as much deaths as DUIs. 3 years after the recreational legalization happened in Washington and Colorado, the statistics did not change from when before it was legalized as far as motor death vehicle accidents are concerned. There are side effects to marijuana. Some people have increased heart rate, decreased blood pressure, and dizziness or lightheadedness. It can cause drowsiness and mood changes, and they can also worsen depression, mania, or other mental illnesses. Politics in marijuana, we're actually gaining some support from voters and from House leaders. A majority of voters in swing districts actually support legalizing the use of marijuana, including 45% who strongly support it, and just 36% oppose legalizing the use of marijuana. Young voters and Democrats are the strongest supporters to legalization, and support is also a potential, with potential swing voters, including independent-leaning white non-college men and women. So we're gaining some support for legalization in marijuana from various voters and leaders, and I just think we're almost there. We're getting there. Several Democratic candidates have signed on to be co-sponsors for the Marijuana Justice Act. Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, and Kristen Gillibrand are just a few of them. Even the candidates or potential candidates who don't support legalization have actually spoken favorably of marijuana policy reform. Senator Sherrod Brown, who's widely expected to announce a presidential bid, said he opposes federal legalization but backs decriminalization, medical marijuana, and the state's right to legalize. And then here is the trend towards legalizing marijuana. Here are the states that currently have allowed it, and the ones that have legalized medical marijuana. So we're certainly gaining some headway as far as legalizing marijuana. But I just think it's time, with all the benefits that it would give towards cancer research and just sort of the medical industry as a whole, and the fact that it's just a natural plant. I think it's time to really put effort into legalizing marijuana and just sort of get that out of the way so that we can focus on other more important issues, and so the medical industry can possibly have one leg up on defeating cancer for good.